Hey, everybody. I am Captain Rocky Balboa, and you are on the lifeboat. Good to see everybody. Always a pleasure. That's right, the Tommy Jr. It's Spanx Calhoun. I'm glad that you're here, my son. Dion Russell, Zen Wen, good to see ya. It's people. I'm going to break every rule in the book today. I'm probably going to talk about all kinds of things I shouldn't talk about, but we're going to start off talking about. You know what? Honestly, the pride of a dad. My son hit the 3 month mark today. To me, that's epic, and it's hey Sharon, good to see you, Sharon. I'm glad that you're here. Really good to see you. That people is a there's a level of pride in that I can't explain, and the fact that the boat has taken a such a big part of his life, it's more than I could have hoped for. Hey, good to see you, Buddha. So before I get rolling, and I am gonna get rolling, I gotta show you this. This right here is my most recent restoration, and it is a historical restoration of a very old pocket watch. So the guy that sent this to me sent me a watch that the inside of Puffinator, good to see you. The Jason P, glad you're here. The inside of this pocket watch had a wristwatch movement in it, and they had jerry rigged a movement holder and a winding crown that was about that long, so it would fit all the way into this very small movement on the inside of the pocket watch. The person that mailed it to me wanted. It didn't run, and it was missing a hand. But when I took the back off and realized this wasn't a genuine article, this watch was not what it was pretending to be. The movement was made by the correct watch company, but that's about where it ended. It was definitely not what it was not what meets the eye, and it's one of those situations that gets you thinking. Number one, I'm really proud of it. It really just came out well. The case, somebody had taken the hinges off at one point, so it wasn't a hinged case, and I really had to do almost everything to this watch, and I don't know. I felt a great sense of accomplishment when it was over. I think it speaks volumes to how important it is to have something to do with your hands. I know people in recovery. Honestly, I could probably think of about 100 hobbies that people have reached out and told me about. We've got a lot of people who are growing fruits, vegetables, peppers. A lot of people growing peppers. So working in gardens and virtually there are as many passions on the lifeboat as there are people. Shoot right now, Sharon. You got a question for me? Fire away. This is one of those days. Don't you stand on formalities. If there is something on your mind, please speak it. Hi, did you win the fight against Ivan Drago, Tommy? It reminds me of a very, very funny episode of Family Guy where Peter ends up fighting the president of Russia. Very, 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 very funny. Good to see you, V. Glad that you're here. I've been doing some gardening out back with the kids myself. It's so healthy, people, to get outside and to do things. Wharton Fissel, glad that you're here, man. Noise opera. Thank you, my brother. Really appreciate you. Hi, Charles McClellan. Charlie Murphy, glad that you're here. So if you're just getting here, I was beaming with pride at my son hitting 90 days of sobriety. And it has, Todd G, glad that you're here. It has honestly caused a paradigm shift in my mind in a lot of ways. In fact, it was a twofer is what it was. There was a two-punch combination. One was that there's not a day that goes by these days that I don't talk to my son. And there's not a day that goes by that we don't talk about the lifeboat and that we don't talk about sobriety. It's a lot of what we talk about. It's not all we talk about, but it's definitely a lot of what we talk about. Yankee Kyle, good to see you. Cemetery says, I planted super hots back in the day. They're fun to eat. Yeah, they're pretty nasty, but they're better than eating that Vegemite. So last week, Heather Joy was doing a show, and she had people come on to the platform, and uh, we had a really excellent interview with Lemmy, and it was just it's nice to see a new face. It's always a cool thing when you somebody that you see in the comment section all the time. Now there's a face that you can put to that name, and I think that's a lovely thing. But in the combination of talking to Lemmy and talking to my son, the combination of those two things. Hold on, I missed Sharon. I can't have that. Hold on, rough situation. They're thinking of putting me in putting it in a timed. Hold on, people. I'm sorry. I will get back to Calhoun. It's looking pretty down on my legs. Might have to go above the knee on both, Captain. And I got to tell you, I don't love that. I don't love the recommendation that I change from an oxy to a Fent for pain. Okay, I am so glad that you asked this. I really am. So they're thinking of putting it in a timed subcutaneous needle feed. Okay. So let me tell you what's going on with that. This is something that I get every day now. There are procedures for which you need a very severe pain medication. When that happens inside a hospital, and I'm not a doctor, this is my experience as a drug addict and a lot of surgeries. But in my experience, they're going to eventually put you onto something very, very strong. And often it's going to be hydromorphone or it's going to be Fent. One of the reasons that they like to go with Fent over the hydromorphone is that it's readily available in patch form. And in a patch form, it is a subdermal. You take a patch and you put it on top of the skin. It goes on with a sticker, and it bleeds 75 milligrams or whatever of fentanyl into your body over the course of a period of time. So it's a sustained release, and it stops you from doing this number. So if they think that there's going to be a need for pain medication after the fact, a lot of times they like to go, I'm already on oxy and morph. Yeah. Okay. So, and I assume that you're on oxycodone and morphine. The oxymorphone is the chemical name for Dilaudid, and it's usually one of the things that they give when you're up into the higher echelons of pain management, where you really need something that's very, very strong. Then that really is that's a great pain management drug. Now, I don't want you to confuse the fentanyl that they're going to give you in the hospital with the fentanyl that kids are doing on the street, or young adults or adults, everyone is doing on the street. Those two drugs are so far apart from one another that they may as well not even be in the same class. It really is a bathtub version. The stuff on the street is a bathtub version of oxycodone, oxyneo, there you go, and 4 milligrams of hydromorphone a day is what I'm on. Okay. Yeah, then if that's what you're on right now for pain management, they may be thinking about taking you to the fentanyl patches, right? So that you can get a constant delivery. If you're already on pain management and you're having to take pain medications every day, the reason that they thank you so much, ZW. I really appreciate that. One big hello and much love to everyone. Thank you, Zenwen. Thank you, Yankee Kyle. My members are absolutely the best anywhere on the internet. Hands down, the greatest people I've come across in life, and I appreciate you noticing that. I really do. They have the number of people that they've helped. Dilaudid is what I'm on, both orally and in my pump, says Seventh Son. Dilaudid is a very strong pain medication. Pump, if they're actually going to install a pump on you where it can just literally drip to you, oh no. Hello, you're on the lifeboat.
Hey, man, just so you know, today is 23 years old.
Okay. I really appreciate the call, but I'm right in the middle of doing something on YouTube. So if I can maybe call you back. All right. Sorry, people. Be like that. But to give you, so the pump is for people in long-term pain management. The pump is usually one of the greatest bets because they can fill the pump up and it will bleed out directly to the spine, and it is it's a great way to deliver pain medication to people who need it over a sustained period of time. The other really fantastic method is with patches, fentanyl patches. But alpha fentanyl, which is what you're going to get, through the pharmaceutical world, is a much more stable and a much more predictable drug than what's on the street. And the way that they give it to you through the jelly in the patch is about the best delivery system to keep people from having peaks and valleys in pain management. And when you can eliminate peaks and valleys, you don't get that whipsaw effect where, oh, now I'm really, really, really hurting, so I'm going to take a whole lot more. And then you start doing this number, and that very often leads to bad things. They gave me Dilaudid when I got pancreatitis from drinking, and that's when I fell in love with opiates. Yep. Dilaudid is heroin's kissing cousin. They are so similar to one another. It is absolutely remarkable. A lot of people have gone down that road. So Sharon, don't think that Fent is so much worse than what they're giving you now, because the pharmaceutical version of it is not at all. It really isn't. It's an excellent painkiller. Sadly, the stuff that's on the street bears almost no resemblance to the stuff that they're talking about giving you. So I would not. I completely understand that, life of Dennis Brace. I completely understand that, and I'm sorry, my brother. I can assure you, it's not going to be happening much longer. So every once in a while, peeps, something will happen. Yeah, and Seventh Son gives you the best advice there. That's the best advice you can get. Dennis, you take care of your sobriety first. Every once in a while, I talk about coming here and celebrating your victories and owning your past. And it's been sort of the backbone of everything that we do here on the Lifeboat. And it's something that I feel really, really strongly about. And it's because so oftentimes when you hit milestones, and you would like to be around people that understand just what a huge milestone that is, and what and how much it takes to get there, and people who can pump their fist in the air along with you. Well, your EMT was correct. I promise you. So when one of those sobriety moments comes along that is so epic that you should almost just grind the show to a halt. There's nobody on this boat that I don't love. I mean that. I really have gotten to the point where I am so involved with the lives of so many people, and I've gotten to meet so many just fantastic individuals and watch them transform. But there are people on the boat too who are just a pillar that they have been sober so long now that they're just a really positive force on the boat, and their presence here does so much more to uplift and to just be literally one of the legs that holds up the channel and holds up the boat. And of course, I'm talking about Charlie Murphy. Charlie doesn't make a big deal over things, so I don't think it's in his personality, really. So let's make a big deal of it for him. Today is Charlie's sobriety date. They only come around once a year, people, but his has come around 23 times today. So Charlie Mullins, aka Charlie Murphy, is on 23 years off alcohol today, which is just absolutely epic. And along with Seventh Son and V and the people that have just been on the boat forever, they're one of the people that I get that people talk about more than anybody else. When I get emails, like the gentleman that just said, your crew members, your members are just amazing. Charlie's one of the names that people talk about every time they say that. He doesn't miss shows. And you know what? Sometimes you have to. Wow, 35 years. Good for you, Yankee Kyle. That's incredible. There are times where everybody misses shows. There are times I miss shows. I don't think Charlie misses any. If he's not here, he's always back after. It's just one of those things that you could not find a video that I've shot, live or otherwise, that doesn't have a comment or three from Charlie Mullins. He's just one of the most positive people that I've ever met in my life. There is not a day that goes by that he doesn't tell everybody here the best piece of advice on the internet. Make sure today that you tell somebody that you love them. And he just quietly goes about what he's doing, which is supporting virtually everybody on the boat. And honestly, I've said before that a day will come where I'm not going to be in this chair. There's going to be times where I'm going to have to be doing other things. But the lifeboat could very easily continue without me. I honestly don't know that I can picture the lifeboat without Charlie. I really don't. He's just, you can't know what it's like unless you've been a content creator, to go on and set up your live feed for the day and hit live. And by the time I'm setting my coffee down and seeing where the cat is to see if she's ready to get in the basket, Charlie's already here and he's already left the first comment of the day. And he's just one of those people. And the day is coming where I'm going to get to give Charlie and his beautiful bride a big hug. And it's something that Johnny has done, and I'm truly jealous over. It's a healthy jealousy, but I'm truly jealous over it. So, Charlie, I love you, man, and I am proud to call you friend. I really am. I'm so glad that you're here, and I am so proud of you, man. 23 years. We should all be so lucky, to get to 23 years. And 35, Kyle. I mean, those numbers, people, are so huge. It's just one of those things that. Oh no, Sharon, of course. And I would ask as many people as you can, and everybody should be able to tell you the same thing. It is the more people that you can get to weigh in on this, the better off you're going to be. And I think that most of them will be ready to do so. And you're going to hear what both that EMT and I said over and over and over again, because. And I did a show once where I talked about this particular subject, and I said this: one of the saddest things about the opioid crisis as it is today in this country is that fentanyl, one of the most productive drugs when it comes to the management of pain, will be demonized, and people who need it in a big way in their life. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. There are people that need pain medication. It's always going to be that way. There will never be a time where there aren't people who absolutely have to have it. There's a reason we have the MU2 receptor, and it's because the mu receptor makes it so that you can have a quality of life in spite of some really tough things that can happen to you. And if you live in constant pain, then you deserve pain management, right? I think that's a basic human right. There are people that may disagree with that, but no one should have to live in pain because of the fact that their medication is something that gets villainized. And I don't want to see. I really do not want to see. That happen. I don't want to see it demonized. I don't want to see people say, "Oh, I'm not going to. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'll take any other pain med," because there's a reason that they climb the ladder and then eventually give you the top one. And what this is going to make sense to some people. Again, I'm not a doctor, but if you take an OxyContin, right? If you take any pain medication, pretty much on the planet, there is a healthy dose of anti-inflammatory in it. The idea being that if you can cut down on inflammation, more often than not, you cut down on pain. The trouble is, it's not great when you're in a long-term pain management situation where you're taking 4 or 5 or 6 pills a day every single day. You're doing way more damage to your body from the acetaminophen or the ibuprofen or whatever they're putting in there as the anti-inflammatory agent mixed along with the opioid. And usually when you're on for real long-term pain management, you want to get something that doesn't have that in it. You can supplement it and take one anti-inflammatory a day or do whatever, but to keep building up on that, it's really, really awful. Tommy Bird says, absolutely, my mom needed pain medication to live. She was on fent patches and still suffered for years before she passed. I'm really sorry to hear that. I really am. But those pain medications give people a quality of life, and it's so I hate seeing fentanyl villainized, and I know I villainize it, but I try to as often as possible. No, my eyes looking a lot better. As often as possible, I try to point out that we're talking about two really different things, right? Alpha fentanyl versus bathtub China-made junk fentanyl, wrapped up in Fugazi packaging to look like heroin. It's a completely different thing. And yeah, I'm sorry too, Tommy Bird. I can't imagine that. I can't. I was on 6 pain meds at the same time, says Virginia. That's a story I hear a lot. I really do. Yeah, a lot of people have been made sick by those. It is a very, like I said, it's the top of the food chain. If you have not been doing opiates for a long period of time, they usually don't recommend Fent. Bathtub crank, same principle, my brother. It really is. Cemetery 76. It's, and nitazenes now is even worse. Hydrocodone has Tylenol. I take 3.5 milligrams for 110 milligram. I cut the 10s in half, so it's like 100 milligrams of Tylenol a pill. It's frightening, isn't it? It really is. And there are some that's even higher. Oh, that's really too young, Tommy Bird. I'm sorry, man. He said she's no longer suffering, but she was only 60 when she passed. I'm so sorry. So, as I was saying earlier, I'm very proud of Charlie. I'm proud of the people we celebrate often in really big numbers, and there's nothing cooler, except I have on the lifeboat made an error, and it stems from really early days of the lifeboat when we were sort of developing our own personality, and you see the comment from Ultra MAGA. I've had a doctor tell me that an 800 milligram ibuprofen works just as good for pain as 500 Vicodin. He means 5 milligrams of Vicodin. Those have 500 milligrams of acetaminophen. He said that opiates help people deal better mentally with pain, and it's true. I mean, opiates they are the gold standard for pain management. It has to be. Be careful going for that drive. So I am of the firm belief, people, that I had made some very serious errors early on in the boat. And that's how you kind of build anything. But the lifeboat became my life work. And it happened very quickly. And I was trying to balance all kinds of things. The biggest mistake that I think I have made to date on the lifeboat is not spending enough time highlighting people who are in early recovery. We like bringing people on who have a lot of recovery. And, there are times where I could have done a lot more with people and a lot more interviews with people. I think that bringing people in and showing individuals who have 25 days of sobriety or have 2 weeks of sobriety gives newcomers a hope that, wow, okay, so there are people here that have 30 years, but this cat's got 2 weeks, right? So there's everything in between. This isn't the old folks, check out how long I've been sober club. And they're also going to articulate difficulties in a much different way than, say, I would at 8 years. If I had been doing the lifeboat show from the first 90 days and everybody had sort of taken that ride along with me, I think that the benefits from that would have been incredible, because as I screwed up, and I screwed up so much in the beginning, fortunately not with, I try to explain this to people. I think I spent the first 5 years in relapse. I didn't actually do any drugs, but I was never in a good headspace. At least for the first 3 years, I was struggling all of the time and really groping for answers. Unfortunately, through journaling and through having a regimented lifestyle where I did the same thing every day, and I had a routine that I did, and surrounding myself with individuals who were solid, whether they were 4 days in recovery or whether they were, 4 years in recovery, they were people that were ready to be sober. And those are the people that I surrounded myself with. And I think it's kind of essential. I think one of the reasons that in structured 12-step kind of programs that they encourage people so much to become mentors and to become sponsors of people is because watching people who are brand new in recovery, my son's excitement about every time there's a new feeling and every time there's kind of that new adventure that Holy crap, it hasn't felt like this in a long time. All of those things, if they had been shared with the world, it would have been a beautiful thing. And with the number of people that we have on the boat, I think that I have been remiss in highlighting those stories as well. And the reason that I didn't do it is because in the beginning we highlighted some people that were new in recovery and they relapsed. And I thought at the time that, I don't want to embarrass somebody that's new in their recovery. If they relapse, then what? You know what? Then get up and dust yourself off and do it. We're not going to judge anybody that does that. And it's almost as if I didn't trust that enough, if that makes sense. It's almost like I didn't trust enough that everybody would be cool to somebody that I'm grasping at straws, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I knew that was the reason, and I had talked about it before with other people, that I don't really want people on that, are early in sobriety. I've said that to anybody that sat in this seat, and it's a mistake. That one's on me. That is absolutely a mistake. So we're going to be making some changes on that, and we're going to be showing a lot more content of people that are new in their recovery. Did you guys see that mug? Can you guys see that? Huh? Tell me that is not funny. I saw that. God, very, very funny mug. Zenwin, I hope your headaches are feeling better. Todd G says, I had codeine for a broken finger and tramadol for my bulging discs, years apart, not at the same time. And my sciatic nerve pain, hate both, made me a zombie. I'll tell you something. We are one of the only cultures, we being the United States of America, is one of the only cultures these days where you just can't go into a pharmacy and buy codeine. Obviously, codeine is an opiate. It is very different than every other form of opiate out there. If fentanyl is the top of the food chain, codeine is the bottom of the food chain. And a lot of people in the States will be familiar with Tylenol 3 with codeine. Okay, most other places around the world, you can buy that over the counter. And it seems that in those places, you don't run into a lot of people who are codeine addicts. So it makes you kind of wonder if maybe there isn't some better things that we could do here in the U.S. to use codeine more in pain management, but we don't. ZW says, lifeboat, yes, head's better. Thanks, Tommy. I just had a really busy day today, cooking, cleaning all day long. Oh, that does sound busy. Today was a day that I worked on watches basically all day long because I haven't been doing enough of that and I had fallen behind. And I'd like to say I caught up all the way, but I'd like to say I'm better looking and all kinds of things. There's not really any hope for being able to say that. I didn't catch up as much as I would like to, but I've been selling a lot of watches, and that's a good thing. But it is certainly keeping me busy. And I'll tell you, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today are the stressors of life. And I think everybody can relate to this. You're going to have stress in your life. And I was looking at the titles of books, and, stress is cancer. The way they describe it in self-help books and everything else, if there's stress in your life, you're doing something wrong. And I don't think that that's the case at all, right? I really don't. If you're stepping onto a movie set for the first time to film a major motion picture, and you have to be surrounded by famous people and lights and all of that, it's going to be one of the most stressful situations of your life. It's also going to be magical, and it's going to be one of the things that you hold dearest forever. And sometimes the most exciting things come with stress. I'm getting ready to move to a different part of the country, and which is really cool. You know what I mean? I'll be closer to people like Zenwen, and we actually have a pretty decent size following in Arizona. Of course, the crazy Mr. Ray Ray will be there too. So yeah, a little of both. I'm kidding. Ray Ray says, my grandfather drank bottles of codeine. Yeah, codeine and promethazine are you find a lot in cough syrups. It's a little different than the stuff that's over the counter, the pills, and it's much more open to abuse. You see that get abused often. Miss Dragon, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. I really am. She says she has to close her mom's bank account tomorrow, split it up, and send it off to my brother. Oi. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's tough. The eye's doing better, Chili Phil. Chili Phil, you got to be on a day at about 31, 32, somewhere in there. This is another example, people, of another individual who's on the boat who's just on fire, fired up about sobriety. And it would seem a tragic sin to wait 2 years to start telling the stories of people who are new just because they're new. And I don't want to do that anymore. So I've got this, I have this move that I have to make. And at the same time, Johnny and I are going through some of the most exciting times of our lives. There's some really, really cool stuff going on for the Scoville brothers, which will be a real bonus for the bus and the boat. It's going to do wonders for our YouTube channels, and of course that's always exciting. But all of that is going along at the same time as this move. And at the same time, we're putting more people into medical assisted treatment than we ever have. In the last 14 days, we have put more people on medical assisted treatment than we did in the previous year. How's that? So when I talked about trying to hit a goal of 130 people by the end of the year, we're going to hit that goal. I absolutely promise you we're going to hit that goal. Zenwen says, my mom was a nurse her whole life. I used to get bronchitis really bad when I was younger, and she used to bring me home liquid codeine for my cough. Otherwise, I would be coughing up all night long. It was very, very popular in last century. Sorry, Z-Deb, but I know that we're close to the same age. It's I remember getting liquid codeine a lot in cough syrup growing up. It seems to be used less. But if you ever hear the rappers talking about scissor up and lean and things like that, that's really what they're referring to as the codeine promethazine cough syrups, mixed, of course, logically with Sprite. Yes. Some of the things that people do. Every day away from our DOC is a is a day well spent. Ask me how I know. Let me tell you something. To those, if you're brand new to sobriety or you're brand new to the boat, DOC, of course, is drug of choice. It is also Department of Corrections. So when I first read that, I thought, oh boy, you're right. Every day away from the Department of Corrections is a good day. But any day away from your drug of choice is an excellent day. Spanx Calhoun, don't try it, but it's delicious. I'm not going to lie to you, Calhoun. I have tried it. I always preferred the grape. I have truck, trailer, all that tools, Tommy. Whoa. Well, yes, we're not the spring chicken channel. That's another thing that I kind of missed the mark on. It's almost repulsive to think about the lifeboat and then think of it in terms of marketing, because this is not about trying to sell merchandise or do any of the other things that very often a YouTube channel is. It's just gross time, right? Most YouTube channels have a very different goal. CK, good to see you. Well, we're glad that you're here. Yep, happy to see you. So, you know what? I went. The computer screen came back on, and I had squirrel nuts staring at me, and I had absolutely no idea what I was talking about. M Hunt was on last night, and M Hunt's on fire right now for sobriety. He really is. He is really working closely with God, and it's something that is really, really sort of turning his life around in the most beautiful directions. I am really at peace about M Hunt. I really have very high hopes for him. I am the noise opera. My man Nick says GHB is gross. That would be gamma hydroxybutyrate, which was originally a tranquilizer for large animals, but became one of the party drugs. KD, good to see you. Became a party drug, like a nightclub drug back in the early 90s. And then shortly thereafter, there was an explosion of bathtub GHB that hit the market. It's what killed River Phoenix, the actor who died on the sidewalk in front of Johnny Depp's Viper Room nightclub in Hollywood, California. It is a disgusting tasting substance that had this kind of a salty thing going on to it, just really, really gross, like a salty shampoo. But what happened was with the advent of the internet, right, or the explosion of the internet, that thing that Al Gore built for us. Anyway, there were recipes out there that you could buy a floor stripper, the stuff that you use to literally strip, wax off of floors, and that floor stripper mixed with only a couple of different substances, which I won't mention. Any idiot in the world could make GHB. And once that sort of rumor got out, and before they realized it got out, amazingly, the government shut down the ability for people to buy that stuff. It's very, very difficult to get today. They don't seem to have any problem whatsoever with pill presses or the stamp dyes to make Adderall and Oxy 80s or Perk 30s or anything like that. There were a lot of GHB addicts with me in rehab. If you were doing that in and around Salt Lake City, that doesn't surprise me. That was a town that was, I'm not kidding you, on my 30th birthday, I had 2 different people give me a gallon of GHB. Everybody in the city was making it. And there was a real serious issue with that at one time. GHB is one of the few things I never got around to trying. You did not miss much. You really did not miss much. There are still legal versions of a form of it. It is not technically gamma hydroxybutyrate, but there's a drug called FDH, which is still legal, believe it or not. It was also very popular in Utah, and furanum dihydro, which does almost exactly what GHB does in the body. Just really nasty, and it can also cause you to viciously vomit in a hotel lobby into one of those little ashtrays that had the white sand on the top, where they would stamp the name into the white sand, all formally back in the day. I won't say who, but I watched somebody vomit into one of those once, and just absolutely awful. How can you tell if an app is a boy or a girl? They're all girls, otherwise they'd be uncles. Yep. Yeah, you were in Salt Lake City, then I would imagine you saw a lot. I'll tell you something. You mix that with alcohol, and it was one of the most dangerous substances in the world. I'm thankful to have what I got for now, but someday I'll have a huge kitchen. I know you will be. I have absolutely no doubt of that. Absolutely no doubt of that. And I think that was going to say ant, but it says app. I don't know. Yeah, grown is right. See, Mark already has your the laugh track of the lifeboat. It would do the as opposed to the bump. It would just be the All right, peeps. So I want to prepare you. There are going to be some things coming up. I have asked recently, instead of app, go with ant. How can you tell if an ant is male or female? Well, they're female. If not, they'd be uncles. But I've never had veal, but I imagine it's banned here in Cali. Yes, it is. So I have been asking people, because I have made this perfectly clear, and I will continue to beat this drum until I can no longer beat it. I believe that in a perfect world, the Lifeboat will be a 24-hour-a-day live channel, that at any time during the day, you'll be able to pop on here, and there will be a host that is doing a live broadcast where somebody can walk in and say, I want or I need help. I think that would be the culmination of this, where it will be perfect, and so I am constantly asking for people who are willing to, to shoot a video for the Lifeboat or willing to take a live feed. And I couldn't, obviously, if you had a Ferrari, you would not throw somebody the keys without making sure they could drive a little bit. And that's what we're in the process of doing. Some of those people, you will see some videos put up, early videos in the beginning. The good news is we will fire them off as a those videos will come out as an instant premiere, so you all can still show up that first day and talk in the chat. The only difference is the host will probably be in the chat talking with you, which is cool. They get instant feedback. I love it. What did the mermaid wear to math class? An algebra. Algebra. Ba-dum-bum. Not nearly as grown worthy as some of your stuff. Not nearly as bad. Nice to live in Beaumont, CK, Egypt here. You're at Todd G. You're in Egypt? Oh, no. I got you. I'm 2 hours from Philly, PA. We got everything late. You know what? If you're that close to Philly, Philly is ground zero right now in the United States for all horrendous things drug. 99% of ants are female. The 1% that are males are called drones, and their only job is to mate with the queen. Just a bit of lifeboat trivia, and good lifeboat trivia it is. Boy, that's good work if you can get it. So everybody else in the hive just has to go around and get food and produce things and do things of that nature. And all they have to do is bow, chicka, bow, 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 chicka, bow, 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 for their entire life. Yeah, you're way better off if you can get that drone job. It probably was Taiwanese. Now I really want to smash hands, says John Doe. A good misogynistic slam to the are they an arachnid or are they insects? I feel like every time I say an ant is an insect, somebody corrects me. What do you call a chameleon that cannot change colors? A reptile dysfunction. Oh, if my father could hear that joke. Those are the kind of jokes that used to kill my father. Like absolutely just knock him down laughter. Those one syllable off kind of, boy, would that have made him laugh. He would have absolutely loved that. If my brother Johnny is here, that's going to slay him. Yes, the fent is a plague there. It is. And the fentanyl, he's talking about Philadelphia. The fentanyl in Philadelphia is about 80 or 90% this year has been cut with xylazine to make trank dope. So it's just an awful, awful place right now to be a drug addict. I just saw another one that I thought was really funny. Where is it? John Doe says it's an insect. I got no reason to think that he lied to me. What do you call a comedian that can't change color? Bacon is meat candy. That's the one that I liked because it is absolutely meat candy. Charles, you nailed it. Yeah, Jason, do that. You can tell him that his little brother said that was a Papa Scoville joke. Papa Scoville would have loved that. Ants are definitely insects. Spiders and scorpions are arachnids. My college education is in wildlife biology being put to use tonight. I love it. Bacon is the best. 4 pounds for $12 at Costco. Boy, is that funny. I wonder if Mama Scoville is watching this right now. We just made the jump from Sam's Club to Costco, and I believe that we bought 4 pounds for $12 just the other day. I like breakfast every morning. I really do. Bacon is just such a good thing. I got a question for you. This is important because I have a loved one who only eats bacon rubbery, while I, on the other hand, prefer my bacon cooked to the point where it looks like it may have been cooked in an atomic reactor or hit with a good sized blowtorch. So weigh in on this. Bacon. Do you prefer it crispy or rubbery? I miss Costco. I used to shop there. I used to go there with Papa Scoville for the buffet. Hey, Lemmy, good to see you. I agree with you. Kirkland brand is good everything. It doesn't matter what they're making. It has to be well done. See, he agrees. He agrees. Lemmy, I caught Lemmy's newest video, and it's there's a decent amount of comedy sprinkled through the audit. It's worthy of going and checking out, people. It's I definitely got a kick out of it. Jason P says he likes his bacon rubbery. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think I'm sorry. I have a hard time believing that. I didn't think that they crispy, says John Doe. Amen. T product weighs in crispy. Crispy, crispy, crispy. Yeah, see, everybody. Those you rubbery bacon people are like 1 in 10. And then you've got the 1 in 5.6 million, right? That's a statistic that I just made up on the spot. 1 in every 5.6 million, you come across someone that does not like bacon. And Noise Opera is that guy. Nick, I cannot believe that. I am literally beside myself. I didn't think it was possible to not like bacon. It's like pate, where it's just meat that tastes like candy. Lemmy, way to get through that. Lemmy says, I felt like I was going to have an aneurysm tonight due to idiots on the road and 2 people threatening me while making deliveries. You know what? Way to rise above it, my man. Way to rise above it. Horton Fizzle says, I eat bacon with a fork. Good. Good. Conky Dome says, crispy for sure. And how? Noise Opera. People say I'm crazy for hating cheese, but hating bacon is on a new level. Yeah, the cheese thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. But, my grandfather on Mama Scoville's side was a vegetarian. And, I remember as a little kid, my father asking him if he would ever eat meat. And he always used to say the one meat that he wished he could eat was bacon. He would eat those bacon bits, which are like fake bacon, made of soy. And he just thought they tasted so good. You know what, though? Noise Opera has been so perfect for like the last over a year. Like the transformation, I talk about it all the time. Nick turned himself from this person to this person, like a 180 degree, just became one of the kindest and most loving people. I mean, just about the perfect crew member on the lifeboat. But now we've got something that's wrong with the guy. And that's, it brings him back to almost normal. Rubbery bacon, you can wrap it up in a ball and bounce it like a bouncy ball. You can, says V. Don't get me wrong, I'll eat rubbery bacon. I just really prefer rubbery bacon eaters probably eat pizza with pineapple on it, says Cemetery 76. Ooh, Todd G. See, I'm not married, so I'm going to tell this joke because this is great. What's the difference between your wife whining to get in the front door and your dog whining to get in the back door? Now, before I go further, women, you can tell the exact same joke about husbands, so don't start going there. What's the difference between your wife whining to get in the front door and your dog whining to get to the back door? When you let your dog in, it quits whining. Ba-dum-bum. Bacon smells and pregnancy does not. Spinach salad. I am not a spinach salad guy. BLT, that would be Bosco licorice and Turkish taffy. Boy, if somebody gets the reference to that TV show, I'll have to do something special. Oh, you know what? We haven't done a giveaway on those shirts. The baby blue lifeboat shirts that I showed last week. It says never quit quitting. But it's a baby blue one that's got just TLB on the front. There's a giveaway to the BLT reference. It was a TV show. What TV show talked about BLT being bacon, lettuce, and Turkish taffy? Hating bacon is Noise Opera's only character defect now. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It is the man's only character defect, but at least he's got one. Shimmy Duwabi, good to see you. Either way, I'm just happy to have bacon, says Shimmy. Either way is fine. I'm just happy to have bacon. That may be the best answer so far. A nice mint sticking pizza is good. I have no idea what that is, but most pizza is good. Oh, bacon and morning sickness doesn't blend. I quit drinking and I'm still nuts, says Mr. Ray Ray, and I will second that. Your mom is allergic to pork. Oh, man. I can't think of anything I would less rather be allergic to. That is just tragedy. I don't like my bacon rubber or crispy. It should be like meat. Huh. There's an odd take. Well, when I was growing up, I had a guy named Dwayne Wilson that was a family friend, and he would buy his bacon by the rasher, right? Which is what you technically buy when you get one in the packet all sliced up. But he would buy it not sliced up. And he'd cut that stuff like that thick, and it would end up being a lot like meat. Of course, I would cook that too until it was absolutely crispy. Put brown sugar on bacon and roll greens up in it, in each slice, and then put it in the oven and bake. Oh, wow. My mouth is watering. What's up with that type of thick? Another inacrid. What's up with that type of tick? Another arachnid that can make you allergic to meat. True thing. Is that the only Lyme disease? Doesn't Lyme disease come from a tick? I think that's the only thing I know that comes from a tick. James Novak, John, do that. Sounds good. Bacon, sausages, pancakes, eggs, and sausage. You can't forget the coffee. And you know what? He makes a really excellent point. James Novak. This borders on genius. Coffee sets off that that stuff in bacon and sausage that just makes it taste better. That was a Papa Scoville thing. He would never ever do one without the other. Todd G agrees. Crispy. I made fake bacon out of rice paper. I think he means paper. The S is quite near the A on the keyboard. I had to look, you see. That sounds like something they would do in prison to make fake. Yeah, there's the correct. The auto correct, Mr. Ray Ray style. I have lots of coffee. I do too. What do we got to do to get one? It's a good question. Oh, what do you got to do to get the shirt? You have to answer what TV show was the reference to bacon, lettuce, and tomato, BLT. This character tells someone that he's having a BLT, and they say, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. And this person says, no, bacon, licorice, and Turkish taffy. It's a tough one. I'm telling you, that's a tough one. It's an old sitcom. Oh, no, I missed it. I need a shirt. Can I buy one now? I'm out of the loop. Well, no, see, you're not out of the loop. There was a TV show back in the day, and there was a character on there that every time he made a reference to BLT, it was bacon, licorice, and Turkish taffy, as opposed to bacon, lettuce, and tomato. And that is the last clue anyone gets. That's right. More bacon for me, says V. She's glad Nick hasn't eaten it. I had a sandwich put on a restaurant menu, a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Mayonnaise on one side, one slice of bread, peanut butter on the other. Ah, that's unusual. One of my favorite things in the world, believe it or not, is peanut butter and bacon. I had a bunch of overripe bananas a while back, and I made all of my roommates banana bread. Love banana bread. Oh, the sale on bacon is going on at Costco Cemetery. This conversation sucks for us food addicts. My apologies, ZW. And this happens every time I bring up bacon. Wharton Thistle says, that hog saved my kid from drowning. I can't eat them all at one time. That's funny. That is really funny, Wharton. All right, I promise we're changing the subject. I promise. Yes, okay, I can't read the chat anymore. While we were talking about all this yummy food, or I can't, or don't eat. Okay, I understand. Yeah, that's just wrong right there. That is just absolutely wrong. I know. Here's a great pivot and change of subject, and one that I would absolutely like to talk about before we close. Today, I was with Mama Scoville, and I was passing by she was watching a news program on TV, and I saw up there that Tina Turner died at 83 years of age at her home in Lucerne, Switzerland. And she had been battling an illness for a long time. I was a huge Tina Turner fan. I had a newspaper headline that came out of the New York Post the day that Ike Turner had passed away. And the headline read, "Ike Turner beats Tina to death." As in he got there first. And I just thought that was one of the silliest anyway, but she has gone to the great beyond, and I am going to be playing some old concert pics of her. I'm probably going to pull up the one from Live Aid back in the day where she appeared on stage with Mick Jagger and David Bowie. Trying to remember the song. I can hear the words, but I can't think of the name of it. Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? They did the three of them came out and sang, and I think he rips off her leather miniskirt, and she just has like long leggings on, and she danced. It was really an iconic performance. Todd G says, I saw that from my generation and Tommy's too. We're approximately the same age. Yeah, Tina was, and the crazy thing is, not only was she of our generation, but she was of most of our parents' generation, because she came in, on the scene, way back in the late 60s, early 70s, mid 60s, all the way up to the early 70s with her husband, Ike, who turned out to be a abusive piece of phlegm. And then, Dancing in the Street. Thanks, John Doe. And then she made a comeback in the 80s. And it was not just like hey, here's another album. Like, she became huge in the 80s. Uh-oh, Mr. Ray had an answer. Let me back up. I didn't see the answer yet. I said the Magic Clown. Nope, you're wrong. Not a bad guess, though, but you are wrong. So, Conky Donk, that would make you wrong as well. James Novak knows that because I work at at the deli at a store where he was a meat. Oh, okay, gotcha. Marv Harmon. Who did I beat up? A workbench where I work on watches, sadly. The Mamas and the Papas mention my town at the end of Dits. Which town is that? John Doe, what town would that be? Gonna scoot, guys. Y'all have a successful struggle. What a great way to put it, Wharton. It's always a pleasure when you're here, my brother. It really is always a pleasure when you're here. Vidlers. Forest Heights, Maryland. Okay. Yes, an influence on our generation, to be sure. Forest Heights. Charles McClellan says Cosmo Kramer. Not a bad guess, but no, incorrect. Sounds like a Homer Simpson thing. Also not a bad guess, but also incorrect. So that brings us to the top of the hour, which means none of you were successful. Squirrel gets the shirt because she's been in the basket. So I would like to tell everybody once again, you're going to be seeing some videos and some new talent from some people that are younger in sobriety who I hope are going to be taking on a much bigger role in the lifeboat on this side of the camera. Monty Python, another good guess. Another really good guess. I might even give you till tomorrow. All right, peeps. This is a cat in a basket. And you can see a cactus through her eyes. And I am Captain Tommy Scoville. We will see you tomorrow on the lifeboat, Lord willing. The game was, who said, instead of bacon and lettuce and tomato when describing a BLT sandwich, they said Bosco, licorice, and Turkish taffy. It almost seems illegal to give you a night to work on it, but I'll do that anyway. Great piece of trivia. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and I am out of here. We'll see some of you on the bus.